Today we're doing a no boil, no chill, sous vide SMaSH ale. Right, first of all, not really sous vide, but we're using this, the Anova Precision Cooker, which is an immersion circulator for sous vide cooking. We're going to use that to set our mash temperature precisely what we want it to be. And we're doing a SMaSH ale, which is single malt and single hop. I'm using 10 pounds of 2-row and then 4 ounces of Cascade. Whole hops for the bittering. I'm just going to throw it in with the mash. And then pitching it with Pacific Ale yeast, and then probably going to dry hop it with another ounce of Cascade at the end of it. My hop utilization is going to be lower than it normally would be since we're not doing a boil. It's actually the temperature of the wort is not going to get over 185 degrees. It's probably going to be closer to 170 degrees, but that's long. It'll be at pasteurization temperatures long enough so we don't have to worry about any kind of infection. Cleaned and sanitized everything. Made sure it's just really clean, pristine, and yeah, should be fun. Kind of got thinking about this when my brew in a bag system wasn't actually getting up to like a full rolling boil. It does get like a kind of a slow rolling boil going, but it's not you know, like a vigorous rolling boil like everyone says that you need to have. And so I started doing a little research, and that's how I came across raw beers that aren't boiled. And so I decided to give it a try and just kind of test the limits of brewing, I guess. Also, I'm doing no chill, so I'm just gonna, after I finish brewing today, I'm just gonna put it in my fermentation chamber and let it cool down to 68 degrees and then pitch the yeast tomorrow. Basically, the only water wasted from this is going to be water loss to the grain, the hops, and also to the bottom of the mash tun. So it's going to be a really water efficient way to brew 5 gallons of beer. So I'm starting out with 3.5 gallons. I'm going to be mashing at 150 degrees. So it's a little under 1.5 quarts per pound, I think. I've been doing like a sparge with 170 degree water, or basically raise up the temperature of the grains to 170 degrees. My only heat source is going to be this guy, Bluetooth controlled, and yeah, it's good for any kind of cooking. If you've never tried sous vide cooking, you should definitely pick one of these up. I'll leave a few links for a couple of different ones down below. And yeah, just trying out a new way of doing things. I use this for my mash water for my 1 gallon batches, but I've never done it for a 5 gallon batch, so I'm just gonna see what it can do. So this particular one has an 800 watt element, so it's good for about up to 5 gallons according to the manufacturer. Some of the other ones you see up there a little bit more, have more power, like Jewel from Chef Steph's. They say can do up to 10 gallons, and that's 1100 watt power source, I believe, element in there. But yeah, I'm gonna got my water measured out, the cooler sanitizing right now, and I'm gonna go drop this in my water and then get started heating up and see how long it takes. Okay, so we reached our strike temperature. Now it's time to add the water. Okay, I've got the first mashing going. Took a little while to heat up. It took about 90 minutes yeah, it took about 90 minutes for the water to heat up, 3.5 gallons, up to my start temperature, 72 degrees C. Gonna be sparging with 79.5 C water. So that should take a while for that to get up to temperature. So it's gonna have a mash that's at least an hour and a half. This isn't a perfect setup. I'm just trying something new, just seeing the possibilities. Another issue is the hops and the amount of bitterness that they will actually be transferring into the wort, because we're not actually getting up to the temperature where the alpha acids can properly dissolve into the wort, because we're not boiling it. A few things that I've read out there that say that there's enough alpha acids that are transferred, or there's enough acids in general that are transferred for bitterness. That's why I added so much hops to this. Like 4 ounces, kind of a lot for a pail, I think. But again, it's just an experiment, just to see what an immersion circulator can do for brewing for the mash process, and then seeing what not boiling the beer is like. So as long as it tastes clean and doesn't have any infections, I'm gonna be happy. So there are plenty of ales throughout history that haven't had a lot of hops in them, or haven't had any hops in them. So as long as it's still drinkable, that's all I care about. Got a sample from my SMaSH beer, and it looks like it's 1.054, so that's exactly what I was hitting for. Actually, that's should be the post-boil temperature, or that should be the post-boil gravity, but since I didn't do a boil, means my efficiency was way up. So I sampled the wort, and there is some bitterness to it, so that's a good sign. Yeah, so now I'm gonna pitch the yeast, and then you guys can check back and we'll see how it's doing. All right, so I'm kegging and bottling my SMaSH no boil, no chill ale, and just took the final gravity reading. It is dry. 1.004. That is way drier than I thought it would be, but cool. So right now it's looking about 6.6% alcohol. Way boozier than I was expecting. So yeah, so half is going into that little guy, and then the other half is going into bottles. And we'll get to try it soon. My SMaSH beer kegged, and just poured myself a little bit. Look at that little. Looks actually pretty clear. A little bit of haze in there, but you can basically see through it. There's a little condensation on the outside, but you can see through it. Let's give it a taste. Tastes like beer. It's decent. It's a little grainy, a little, I guess, grassy would be the best way to put it. Yeah, it's drinkable. So I guess if you had to make beer in a pinch without boiling it, it's gonna work. So yeah, it was an interesting experiment. And again, just the only thing I used was my Anova Precision Cooker, and yeah, it worked out pretty well. So definitely gonna keep using this for hitting mash temperatures if I'm using like a picnic cooler or something, or just doing smaller batches, like 1 gallon batches. No boil actually works, and it doesn't taste terrible. It doesn't taste great, but if you like handed this to me and I didn't know the story behind it, I probably would think it's a alright beer. So yeah, I'm actually surprised how clear that is with, because that's no boil. You can see me through there, my eye. Anyway, that was fun, so I will see you on the next brew day. Later.